People do for money what people do for money.
My buddy who works at a bank told me about a woman who came in with some money problems. The woman made over $100,000 a year, but wasn't able to save any money each month. But she did have a luxury car, she had a luxury home, she probably had a luxury hairdo, and a luxury toothbrush. You have to be super dedicated to a lifestyle to be able to burn up $100,000 every month and be left with nothing. She's making all this money, but is literally allowing her lifestyle to pimp her. Imagine that, a person with enough money to live comfortably, but living a lifestyle that makes them feel damn near impoverished.
My name's Jeanette Weiland, and one thing I believe about money is that it buys you choices, which in my mind equals freedom.
Manager Dan Money, I'm of course your host, Ben Carter, and I'm joined here by Miss Jeanette Weiland. She is the Executive Vice President at CIC Wealth Management Group, and thank you for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me, Ben.
Of course, of course. So I think, I guess the first question is, what do you do, and how does it, how are you involved in finances?
So generally speaking, our firm, we're investment advisors. So we manage people's money in terms of investing in the markets. When you work with people to manage, the money that they're working their whole lives for, you just end up counseling them a lot more about all sorts of things, more than just, what hot stock do I want to buy, or, you talk about family, goals, retirement, all sorts of personal issues.
So how did you get into wealth management? Talk about that.
I don't think I ever thought that I would go into this business, but I saw, I worked with clients, I worked with advisors, and I found myself genuinely passionate about it. I believe in it. Growing up, my mother really pushed issues about, budgeting and saving and just being financially responsible.
So today we're talking about lifestyle choices and kind of how lifestyle choices can impact.
They can make or break you.
They can make or break you. Right. What are some things or thoughts that you have on those lifestyle choices that you make now and kind of how they impact the ability to save and invest later?
I think in the history of human beings, there's always the keeping up with the Joneses, phenomenon.
Absolutely.
And social pressures and all sorts of things. And people worry about images and all of those worries and insecurities and concerns can translate into spending money recklessly. So I think when you think in terms of what's important to you and the lifestyle you want to live, you really need to analyze your priorities.
What's one thing you feel like is most helpful in terms of determining making those lifestyle choices?
I think step number one, if you're a young person and you're even thinking about this and you're eager to learn and figure out how to get to where you want to go, is half the battle.
So the start is to care
right,
and be concerned about it at all.
So another step, I guess, after you've just decided that you're going to take this seriously and you're going to address the issue, think about your priorities. What are your goals? What are you doing this for? What do you enjoy doing? It might not just be you, it might be a family, it might be a partner, who knows? And once you figure out what's important, you prioritize.
Pleasure, man. All right, man. Welcome back. I'll let y'all. Do it one more time.
Well, how should people choose what they do spend money on in terms of the lifestyle that they choose? What should be important? What shouldn't be important? Like, what are the factors people need to consider when they're saying, I want to make this lifestyle choice, I want to make that lifestyle choice?
Right. So I guess a good place to start is obviously, what are the necessities? Right. If you're fresh out of college, are you living at home and working, or are you renting an apartment? If you're renting or in a place where so you're paying rent, let's say, you have your utilities. Apparently in today's world, cell phones are an absolute necessity.
I find mine to be exactly that.
Yes, we cannot live without them.
I don't think I could.
So we have, your basic necessities.
Right.
And then from there, I think you start to get into I would never tell people you should just live on cabbage soup and
And ramen noodles.
Right, ramen noodles and buy clothes only at the thrift store. Let's be realistic.
Right.
because perception is important in our professional lives and such. So you just want to be smart about it.
Right.
You know, let's say you're 25 years old and you're working your first job out of college. Do you really need a BMW? Like, really? I mean, really? Especially, let's pretend you're in the DC area with the metro. Come on. You know, a Honda Accord is perfectly acceptable. So
That's funny.
You know, so let's work our way up.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
You know, it's just about just being smart about it, be wise. But you know, quite frankly, you could be, let's say, 25, 26-year-old at a law school, and you graduate at the top of your class, and now you are recruited by a huge firm, and you're making 6 figures. Darling, if you want to drive a BMW, drive a BMW. You know, if you can afford it. If you're
Right.
still, you know, maxing out your retirement plan and taking care of the necessities first. But
Okay.
I think part of choosing the lifestyle and when you're thinking about budgeting and such, that's, you know, where I come in as my profession is I'm always going to advise you and push you to think about the long-term future. And that's when you get into, are you considering your retirement money one of those necessities just like rent or utilities? Or are you putting that on a back burner behind having hot clothes and a nice car?
Okay.
That's where people are making the disconnect, I
Right.
think. People aren't thinking about
Absolutely.
saving in the long term.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what's most important. Jeanette Weiland, Executive Vice President at CIC Wealth Management Group. We thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate being here. Thank you.
All right.